Okay. Looks like there might have been, if not some confusion, the assignment not like entirely clear. See, let me open up. Into the Well, see, this is what we were doing yesterday, right? So you were saying you created a business service to put a message in the request queue, right? So you would have configured yeah, within the same business service, um, you would have configured, to pick up the response from the response queue, right? So the business service is doing two things. One, not only it's doing its usual thing, which is like creating producing a message for this queue. You would have also configured um, just this, not durable proxy. Okay, this may be. um, See, you would have picked both the options, right? For the this is the proxy service, consume, produce. uh, which project was it? Hmm. Maybe I didn't implement it yesterday, right? Yeah. So essentially, for the see the business service, whichever we might I might take any one of these services. Let's say this is. Let me just close out all of here, and just open this one, right? Now, let's say this is the business service you have configured to put a message in the request queue, right? So here, this same business service will also be able to pick up a response, from the other queue, right? That's why, we are doing the request response model. So hence you'll pick the response message type as text, and then going forward here, um, here there won't be much to do. But then in the JMS transport, right? It's a queue text. One of these two options, one for all request URIs, and then uh, you would provide the response URI, like where you would be picking the response from. So again, it's the same URL except that it's not the request queue. It is the response queue that you give at the end of the URL, right? Yes, yes. So in this case, this is the special behavior that is built in both the business and proxy services. Okay, where in a for in a request response model. Okay, in a request response model, if you want to implement such model, then you can. This is like a backdoor. Business service is always like producing the messages. Okay, this is they are just providing a backdoor for being able. So the infrastructure will take care of getting the response from the response queue, and again relating that to the business queue. Exactly. There is no need for the second proxy service. So on the business on the requester side, the business service will take care of putting the message, and then it synchronously is waiting for the response. Okay, and once it gets the response, then it will just proceed. Okay. So now on the replier side, it is the same story again, right? Because even a proxy service, even though it only like consumes the messages, again you can configure it for the request response model too. Okay, so the proxy service will not only like consume the message, then it will also put out the same proxy service will also put out the uh, the output message in the response queue. Okay, so to implement this request response model, it is just one business service on the requester side and one proxy service on the replier side. Okay. See, and one other thing that maybe I just wanted to talk a little bit more on, basing on yesterday's discussion. Now, well, I tried to put something together. I don't know how much this makes sense. Now, see here. Let's say this is the business service, right? That on the requester side, and this is the proxy service on the replier side. So the business service is creating this message with the correlation ID, let's say 123, and then it is putting into the request queue. Then this message is picked up by the proxy service. Once it is see the business service, once it puts the message, then it is waiting for the response from the response queue, right? It is in a synchronous wait here, and the proxy service will pick up this message, right? Uh, now, and then it will put the response in the response queue. Okay, once the message is in the response queue, then the OSB runtime is trying to pick up that message, and then it's trying to correlate which of the running business service instances this message should go to. Okay, initially when the business service is sending out that message, the OSB runtime will maintain a map of, okay, the business service 1 sent out a message with the correlation ID 123, right? So whenever it receives a response, incoming message with the correlation 123, then it will look at that mapping table to find out which business service sent out this message, and then it will forward the message to that instance. So the thing that we were talking yesterday was, now that mapping table is maintained in memory. Okay, it is maintained in memory. So in the advent of the server crash, that mapping table is gone. So imagine in the same situation, business service sent out a message, and the OSB runtime duly noted that mapping in the mapping table, like business service 1 and the correlation ID 123, right? So now it's in the mapping, and the message went out, and now there is a server crash. Okay, so this mapping is gone. But once the reply comes back, OSB doesn't know which business instance to correlate this to. Okay, so then we can consider that message as lost at the time. Now, if that's an okay scenario, let's say, if that is okay to lose such messages where duplicate requests can be sent out, then this is a applicable design pattern. You can design the communication